Oh, well.
How about now? Do you like that stream key, YouTube? Do you like it?
Hey there.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah,
does.
there's that notification.
It's good that the stream key
Yeah.
is based on like a rotating, VPN key or something. It's like every time you try to use it. Oh, it's different now.
Oh, I hear somebody.
Yeah, it was me checking the link. Make sure it was actually legit.
There we are.
Man.
What a thumbnail.
What? We're
It's
all
always
looking
the
at our
worst
phones.
thumbnail.
4 bored dudes.
It's always like whenever we look excited, it's like, stop looking excited. Whenever you don't look excited, that's when we're going to pick your still frame. You know what this means, Chuck?
No.
Or
There should be a tweet. There it is. Tweet.
oh yes. Clatu Verata Nicto.
Hell yeah.
Got to be careful when you're opening up Twitter.
Do you?
I do, yeah. I don't
Why?
do it anymore, ever.
It's good.
Actually, that's not
good
true.
for
I
you.
opened it up today to get news before there was news, because sometimes it's good for that.
What news were you looking
The
for?
internet outage thing that was happening.
yeah.
It was
I heard
big.
about that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We should all move our shit to Azure. It's so reliable. So reliable.
That sounds sarcastic.
It's not sarcastic. It's an honest opinion. Not at all influenced by the biochip that Bill Gates put in me today.
We've already been all the rest of us have already been chipped. So
I know. You're like, the humor's been removed. It's like, beep boop.
Yeah.
It's like when the guy made the Control Alt Delete joke to Bill Gates and you just looked there like, that wasn't funny. You're making fun of my inferior software. Beep boop.
Beep boop does sound like Bill Gates.
It is. It's what rich people
It's
say.
a thing. It's a thing he would say.
It's
Beep
only
boop.
really rich people are in on the beep boop boop.
I wonder how he sounds when he imitates a modem. Does he go dumby dumder?
Yes.
You should. That's how you phonetically pronounce a modem sound.
See, now that I've got a standing desk, I should see how many beers I can drink during the course of one of our episodes and see if I just fall over at some point. But not tonight.
Sure. That sounds like fun or
Do
alcoholism.
that for the season finale of the Variety Hour.
Yeah. I could make it happen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's the series finale of Variety Hour.
It would be good, but we
Yeah.
can't call it that because who knows?
That's true.
Hey man, wave 4, whatever wave is going to hit us.
All right. I mean, the world's all
Oh,
about
from Europe.
reboots these days, so who
Yeah.
knows?
I have considered suggesting that we just call it season 2 when we come back.
I thought of that as well. Really pimp it as season 2 begins. We kind of did that. I mean, we didn't get that many episodes after 500 before we had to stop. So, and that last episode shouldn't even count.
Before we were unceremoniously canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even there for the last episode, was I?
No.
Yeah.
Was it just the two of us? Was there one where we
No,
did a twofer?
BJ was there. It was.
Yeah, VJ was there.
I feel like there
was
was
it,
one where we.
Did you watch Newsboys? What the hell was it? What was it
No.
called?
I have
Delivery
no
Boys?
idea.
Oh, Jersey Boys
Delivery Boys.
Jerky Boys.
rapping
Boys on the side.
Hardy Boys.
to all the boys.
Tu Wong Fu.
That one. God, what was the last? I think the last episode I saw was Battle Queen 2020.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking shouldn't count.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty rough.
What you doing there, Spooky BJ?
Yeah, what's going on, BJ?
I'm gonna submit something for your approval to the Midnight Society.
You trying to blind a bear?
I'm just keeping myself occupied while you guys do jokes.
Oh,
Well, you're gonna have to do that for like another hour and a half.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We should do a 100% serious show today. That will be our ultimate April Fool's joke. No jokes, just straight to business. All business.
Well, yeah. I mean, we got the vaccine, so
Mhm.
all that
Yeah.
personality is now gone.
It's true. Yeah.
Anyway, how about those Microsoft products that you
I
and
think-
I enjoy?
They're great.
I think if you have not tried Edge, you should really delete all your other browsers.
Mhm.
They are inferior to Edge, which is the best browser mankind has ever created or ever will.
It's true.
Edge.
I
by
agree.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's good.
It got good when it was based on Chrome.
I would be using my Microsoft Xbox wireless headset, except I am a filthy communist.
And how?
You said it.
So, are you ready to do this thing? Do we want
Yes.
to wait for anybody? Did we tell anyone we were doing this late? We were probably just like, hey, I guess we're not doing an episode this week.
Nah, it's Thursday.
All right, cool.
It's baseball opening night.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely
guys.
what's
Already
taking...
one game canceled from COVID.
Baseball, you guys. Baseball.
Why does baseball always start in April? Like,
Yes.
like
Yes,
I mean, is this like
actually.
real season for like spring training? I mean, like, is this real
Baseball
baseball?
starts in April.
Jesus Christ! All right,
And it runs until
fucking
March.
November.
November,
the
yeah.
next-
I mean, I know it used to be over in October because you know that whole Reggie Jackson "Don't Shoot the Queen" thing.
Yes.
But you know, but yeah, like Mr. October thing.
Who was the guy they called Mr. September because he always sucked in the playoffs?
Playoffs.
I think it was A-Rod for a while, but then he actually won something. So, Harlow has stuff to talk about. I have a couple things. And then we want to do Kong.
I have two classic BMFcast movies that I want to mention.
Okay.
Okay then,
I mean, does that
let's
sequence of events work for everybody?
let's make a show. Let's,
Sure, yeah.
Alright,
We'll
let's
do
do
random
this.
shit and then say, everyone get the fuck out. We're talking Godzilla.
Right. Is everybody recording?
Nope.
Shit. Yeah, I'm not.
I clapped and then realized I didn't.
I have like 11 minutes worth of recording.
What
Backwards, I
episode
am
is
talking
this?
now.
Do you mean to stop it, Chuck?
No, that's fine. What episode is this? 30 what?
Don't know. Going there now.
30
30
Rock.
39? 30, what is this?
Give me a moment.
You know, the internet.
It's Cinescope
It's 30.
episode
It's 37.
2. Yes,
This is 37?
It is.
Yes, it's
All right.
Harlow's episode.
My number.
Cool.
It's the Harl episode.
All right. Here comes the
Now I'm recording. Look at those.
recording forwards. I am.
Look at those waves.
That was a shitty clap.
A slap.
All right, and welcome to the BMFcast Variety Hour.
Hey!
All right,
That's
woo,
Variety
it's
Hour.
Variety
Hey,
Hour.
we're
Yeah.
still doing this, but hopefully not for long.
We are
Right.
62.5% vaccinated now.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah.
Math and
Getting
stuff.
close.
The numbers are going up.
Yeah. And this is episode 37, in case you're keeping track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who are we?
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
Yeah. We're still in our remote locations, you know, talking into webcams.
Just being
Broadcasting
safe, man.
from secret locations worldwide.
Mm-hmm. I'm from the Ghost Planet, and Chuck's from Fat
I'm
Man
in,
Tron
I'm in
World.
Tron.
Fat Man Tron World.
Yes. Fat Man Tron World.
I'm
Well,
from
I
the
think
internet of
isn't that
1998.
Jedi guy from the Council? Wasn't that him?
Batman Tron.
That guy in the background. He's in episode something. One of them early Star Wars things.
Different guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Q-tip guy?
Yeah, the Q-tip guy who like dies like this, which
Yeah.
isn't funny on audio at all.
It's a very quiet, placid death.
Yeah. Well, you know, he flops like a lot as
Yeah,
he's getting shot
he-
by
He gets
clone
all
troopers.
spasmy.
Well, you didn't make any noise, so
Well, it was this musical montage. We didn't get to hear him go or whatever noise he made.
It would be funny if he's like the ultimate Jedi, the ultimate Jedi master, and he's like,
Finish the race, of course. Why would you make that your last words? It doesn't even make sense. Oh. But yeah, so we're going to talk about some random movies, and then obviously Godzilla vs. Kong is the big thing that came out for most people.
Yeah, we basically delayed recording this a day just for that.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, yes. We'll blame it on that. Sure. Sounds good. But yeah, we're going to kind of like do a second half semi-spoiler casty thing, so if you want to jettison at that point, we will tell you before we get into any kind of details about that flick.
But if you have HBO Max, you should probably watch it.
You should. Yeah, it's free-ish. I mean, if you have the service already, it's...
If you have it, yeah,
yes.
It's not going to cost you
It would be a
anything
no-brainer.
extra.
I mean, unless, it takes something like you going like, for the little things or whatever, where I was just like, I don't even think I even need to waste my time, but I even let Tom and Jerry play in the background, because why the fuck not? It's like, it's there. I will semi-pay attention to this. Okay.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
You can semi-pay attention to it.
Yeah. I mean, I got the gist of what was happening in Tom and Jerry, not a lot, but there's a lot in Godzilla vs. Kong.
There have been more hits than misses on HBO Max this year, so
Sure.
Hot Tom and Jerry talk again.
Yeah.
So, what do we have?
Yeah.
That we've all watched. That's not kaiju-ish.
Well, I had a
Jewish. Wait.
weird set of things that like lined up, sort of, but unintentionally.
Okay.
So I watched
All right, then.
I watched 2 Aaron Sorkin movies, and one of them has Jessica Chastain, and I ended up watching 2 Jessica Chastain movies. So it's 3 movies, but there's a common link in 2 of them. So I guess I'll just start because I don't have a lot to say because Chuck already talked about it, but I did watch The Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix. That's real good. You should watch that. No, I mean, like, even amongst people, sometimes you see casting in certain movies and you're like, really? Like, I don't have anything against Sacha Baron Cohen, but there's a little bit of a stigma, I would think, attached to casting someone with a personality like that in a movie, especially for a dramatic role. There's a little bit of like, I don't know, is this a good choice? But he's really good in it. I mean, I have nothing against him. It's just like sometimes, like when Jim Carrey was first trying to get into drama, it's like, oh, really? Let's go watch, wacky face guy trying to make us cry. Yeah, okay, whatever, But eventually we came around. We're like, hey, yeah, he's actually pretty good. Yeah, so just saying. But yeah, and even Eddie Redmayne and his weird face is pretty good in it. So I mean, it's all in all a good movie. So I'm not even the one who has a real problem with Eddie Redmayne's face. I'm just pointing out because every time he gets mentioned, it's like, Jesus, that guy looks weird. But yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad the movie's good in spite of Eddie Redmayne.
I mean, I would say I would
And
go
his
as far as to say
weird-ass face.
he's actually pretty good in it. I mean, I don't think he's like
So that's different from most of his roles.
I don't know why you say that. He's actually pretty good, other than looking kind of weird.
I guess I've just seen him in shit, so
Yeah.
maybe that's just me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I will agree with you with the yes, he looks weird, but like generally he's a pretty good actor. I mean, not counting the fantastic fuck fest of whatever happened to J.K. Rowling's fucked up world and her.
Yeah, don't watch those.
Well, I'm just saying, like, like now it's just like, well, cool, we can't even enjoy Harry Potter anymore because people have to say stupid shit and these other movies suck and I don't know. It's just whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But I guess I'll continue with Aaron Sorkin. Yes, I finally got around to watching. Actually, shit, I watched 3 Aaron Sorkin movies. I almost missed one. Because, yes, I also watched Charlie Wilson's War, which was one that I had not gotten around to seeing when I was doing my Sorkin Fest.
Yeah.
And
Did Charlie Wilson win?
if by win you mean cause 9/11, then yeah. I mean, it's not his fault, but
Hey, good job, Charlie.
I mean, but
Thanks.
I mean, it's not really Charlie's fault. Charlie was actually trying to stop 9/11. I'm saying, like, it's like,
yeah,
this
they
is
all say that.
this was all of the,
Now.
this was training the Mujahideen to fight the Russians kind of stuff. I mean, it's Rambo
Oh.
3. It's the
Oh,
backstory
Brave
of
Warriors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this
I
is
remember
the
that.
same story of like, how we fucked ourselves essentially.
It's the story of how we fucked them over.
Yes. Yeah.
and it came back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah, I mean they never
really
actually say
did.
that. They really are just like, you know what we're talking about, right? Like, I mean, that's one thing I'll say about the movie is it's like it actually expects you to know a little bit of history, because it never like directly says and then 9/11 happened or anything like that. It's just like, it's like, yeah, remember like when we like funded a shadow war in this country and then left them to like, hey, go fuck yourselves, like, and then they're like, hey, that's not cool.
They're like,
The correct
"We'll show
question
you."
is, which time are you referring to?
This specific,
The
end
most
of the,
recent time.
yeah, the
Yeah.
end of the Cold War part.
So
Yeah.
what year did this movie come out? Because it was like 2005, somewhere around there, or
Yeah.
later.
I
'Cause,
thought it was
you know.
later than that, wasn't it? I mean, because this was like Sorkin's like first like I'm going to direct something one, I think, like himself. I
No,
think that's the
no.
no, he didn't direct that one.
No, Molly's
Molly's Game
was
is the first one.
he
Okay,
directed.
all right. No, that's right. It was Mike Nichols. That's right, for Charlie Wilson's War, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's another good movie. I mean, you should watch it. I mean, it was funny because like I've kind of been on like a little bit of a Tom Hanks kick. I mean, I've watched some other things with him that I don't feel the need to mention, like rewatching The Burbs and stuff after you talking about it so much and things like that, and it's just like I kind of got in this weird thing where it's like all of a sudden, I guess just based on the Tom Hanks movies I was watching, I was like, has Tom Hanks like ever like done a movie where he swears and stuff? Like all of a sudden it was just like I started like painting this weird picture where it was like Tom Hanks like had this fully Disney-fied image, like I won't say swear words in a movie. I know it's not true. Obviously it's not true. Like it's clearly not true, but like just things I'd watched in a row, it was like that movie started and I was like, well, this seems like a weird choice for him. And like, and it's like it gets very early. It's like, he's naked in a hot tub with Playboy bunnies and cocaine all around and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, clearly Tom Hanks will do whatever in a role. It's I don't know what the fuck I was convincing myself that like somehow I'd never seen him like do anything naughty in a movie, because then
Hey, man, you get to the point in your career where you're like, put me naked in a hot tub with cocaine and Playboy.
sure
photos.
sure yeah well, yeah I'm Tom fucking Hanks.
Literally at any point in my career, you can do that.
But I mean, I also rewatched Road to Perdition, and then that's another one. I watched it after I busted the myth of like Tom Hanks doesn't swear, because he swears all over the place in Road to Perdition, which I feel like we had this conversation in the Discord, and too many people were like, I never got around to seeing Road to Perdition. You should absolutely fucking see Road to Perdition. It is
That was me.
okay. Well,
You were talking to me
I just
because you were about to say something spoilery about the movie.
oh yeah,
and
I was
like,
about to
"Oh,
make
yeah,
a
I
joke
should
about.
watch Road
I was
to
going to make a
Perdition."
joke about how that movie ends, and but yeah, it can't, because like it caught. For a second, I was like, "Oh yeah, I think of that movie as ubiquitous. Like everyone saw it, because like that's how much I love it." But it's like it was one of those where I started to say the ending and was like, "Oh wait, have you actually seen this?"
Nah.
I just think that's like
I
one of
haven't
the most.
seen it either.
Oh, I just think that's like one of the most perfectly directed movies of all time. Like Alien. I mean, it's like every shot is so fucking deliberate of like what it's doing and stuff. It's just it's magnificent. Like, I mean, rack focuses and stuff that play into the story and stuff like that. I mean, it's phenomenal. But anyway, but Charlie Wilson's War is good. The last one is, as you mentioned, I did watch Molly's Game. That would be the Jessica Chastain connection there. And I think like Chuck, for some reason, it's you said it kind of perfectly. It was like every once in a while there's a movie that like everything says I will like this, like this has people in it that I like, this is written by a person that I like or directed by a person I like, and just for some reason your brain is like, yeah, but I don't want to watch it. Like I don't, and I can't understand it. It's just like every once in a while it's just like, here's all the pieces in place that will make this a thing that you enjoy, and you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
just
one of those
absolutely.
movies.
Here's a thing made for me.
Right.
I'm never going to watch it.
Yes. Well,
It's a special thing. I'm going to put it on a shelf, and I just always know it's there.
yeah. But I'm here to say it's a fantastic movie too. I mean, like I've said I'm a Sorkin file or stan or whatever the hell you want to call myself. I mean, I like generally everything he's done to some degree. Like there are things that I'm a little less interested in. Like I thought the Steve Jobs biopic thing was, just like, all right, this is weird and not great. It's just like,
It's infinitely quotable, though.
sure, I guess so. But yeah, I just like, there's certain things where it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, even like what's the sports radio one thing? Sports Night.
Sports
Like,
Night.
It's a good show, but like at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, oh, you're really making a big deal about fucking talking about sports, and like this is like, if you boil it down, it's like, this is fucking stupid. Like I can accept all the fancy talk and everything when it's like, let's run the country and be fast talking, like we're making decisions on the fly, but it's like, you're running a fucking sports radio thing, like that's so bullshit now. Like I think because like now it's like you're just inundated with 24 hours of 4 ESPN channels having to fill content of just like, I don't know, let's have an in-depth conversation about curling because got to fill some time, you know.
That's the sport of kings.
Right. But yes, it's also a good movie. It's funny.
I watched it too. I did like it a lot. I didn't like it as much as other Sorkin things. It's hampered by the same thing with Steve Jobs is hampered with, which
Right.
is that it has to be based on something real.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
But I
that
feel like
story seems to be missing like a third act. Like the real story ends before, like in a real movie, shit would get real.
Yes.
It's like something happens and Molly is taken out of the story, and then the rest of the story happens while she's not doing anything.
A little bit.
And
yeah.
it's like, well, that's odd.
No, I agree with that. I just think unlike the Steve Jobs thing, which, you know, to me kind of falls in that, like, you know, Ali camp where it's like, all right, you know, like, I get it. You casted everybody really well. It feels like the real thing, but what the fuck is the point of this? You know, or it's just like when it's all over, it's like, what was your message? Like, you just showed me a section or 3 sections of somebody's life and like it was over. At least this, even being trapped around the idea of a true life story, I felt like it still had a satisfying cinematic finale, even if it is just kind of like, well, you know, this is all dumb. We should let her go. You know, I mean, sorry, spoilers. It's real fucking life. But
It's an actual case.
yes, like, yeah. But anyway, I mean, just saying, it's held together with strong performances, basically. You know, like Idris Elba and I mean Jessica Chastain herself is doing a really good job, and even Kevin Costner. Like I was having that conversation with Chuck, where like, why the fuck did the world decide they hated Kevin Costner? Like, I don't know what it was, because like, with the exception of like his couple of box office bombs and, you know, his hubris getting the better of him, sort of, it's like he never stopped being a good actor. Like I was thinking back to like I was watching Road to Perdition. I was like, what the fuck was that Kevin Costner in the car with the young kid movie where he like kidnapped the kid or whatever? I was like, it's Perfect World is the name of it. I looked up. It's that Clint Eastwood movie, but like he's fucking great in that. And I mean, it's like that's after the like we fucking hate Kevin Costner. He sucks and makes 4-hour-long boring ass pieces of shit. You know, and it's just like,
It was
dude,
The
he's
Postman.
It was The Postman and Waterworld, where people were just like, wow, fuck you, guy.
yeah. I don't know. I
And I
don't
just like, I
Not
don't
really
understand
his
why.
fault.
No,
Yeah.
not.
He didn't make the movies.
I
but
actually like The
Well, I
Postman.
mean,
That's one of
I
my
like The Postman,
I like
too.
The Postman, even though it's like a weird, like sappy, you know, love song to something that arguably doesn't need to exist or won't exist one day. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to push opinions on the post office, but
We're almost to the point where
Well, I'm
we
just
need
saying,
a sappy love song.
it's
for the
clearly
post
like, you know,
office.
it's clearly having issues and, you know, all the other stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It is a weird thing to build your post-apocalyptic movie around. Is hey, let's start the post office.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, maybe they want water and power before they want fucking mail. I'm just saying, like,
give me that letter.
just, I mean, look,
Communication is
And then the
very
bad guys are like, no, mail's stupid.
let's just say, like, there's no win condition in State of Decay for like starting the mail back up. Like nobody gives a shit if they're getting letters from everybody that's probably dead, you know. Anyway, but the point is, like, oh, the last Jessica Chastain carryover thing. It's really funny that I decided to watch this because of how much similarity it ended up having with Molly's Game. Was I watched Ava, which I think came out last year. It just mostly because I was flipping through like the 4K offerings on Netflix, and that was one of the odd. This is not a Netflix movie or show that's in 4K, and I was like, all right, you know, I generally like her in movies. Like, let's see what this is, and you know, ended up kind of liking it. I mean, she plays a assassin who's kind of like nearing the end of her career, like kind of having that like, can I still do this? Am I still like, should I be out in the field, or you know, do I still want to do this kind of thing? But the commonality is like she's a recovering drug and alcohol addict in that as well. It's like it's just it's really strange because like that's such a central theme to both of those movies. I mean, she has like it really fucks with your brain. Like I'm saying, if you're going to watch Ava, put some distance between it and Molly's Game, unlike I did, because like there are actually shots of her just like staring at liquor bottles like longingly in that too. And I swear it's in like both movies where it's just like several times it's like, should I? Nah. You know? And I was just like, it gets real confusing by the end, but it's a solid movie. Like I like these. I like these movies. Like what was the other one? Jennifer Garner's what was it? Peppermint. Like these, you know, kick-ass lady roles. Like I mean, I like it when it's like not like this, they're not. Neither of those is played like, oh look, it's a lady doing shit. It just is a lady doing shit. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. Like other than like occasionally like somebody go like, girl, I'm not gonna fight you, and then she kicks her ass or whatever. But it's like the general tone of the movie is not like, I feel like that's part of the problem with like Atomic Blonde or even I don't think
Sparrow.
Red Sparrow. Yeah, I mean it's just sort of like, yeah, like this shouldn't be happening to a lady, and it's like this shouldn't be happening to anybody. Like like you're missing the point here. Like I'm not, the whole equality thing is like I should feel equally bad were this happening to anybody. Like that's what I don't. It's like a faux female empowerment thing. It doesn't really work for me because it's like if your story hinges on look at what she overcame because she's a lady, it's like no, just show me what she overcame, not because she's a lady, just because she's a badass. Like yeah, that's where I come from. It's like I like movies like that where it's just like that's not the plot point. It's just they happen to be a lady who kicks ass. So my 2 cents. But yeah, I liked it. It's fun, and Colin Farrell's in it. He's good. John Malkovich is in it. He's good. Saying it's got some people.
Those guys.
Yeah. Colin Farrell continues that streak of like, yeah, put Colin Farrell in movies. He's generally going to be good. He's going to do what you want, whether it's like you need to like him or fucking hate him. Like he's really good at either one of those. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, just a solid. I don't know, slightly better than a B movie. Like I think it's got a little bit more to say than a standard B movie kind of thing. But I enjoyed it. And now I will pass the mic because I've said enough.
So BJ,
Yes,
you've been watching some things.
I have. I actually watched a couple of BMFcast classics lately.
Oh, classiques.
Yeah, some classiques. Somehow I got Speed from BMFcast favorite The Apple stuck in my head. And,
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't remember us
where are
watching
you going
Speed.
with this, man?
Yeah, no.
Thought you were taking drugs.
Not
Somehow I got
yeah.
speed.
I mean, I've had weekends like that, but
not Speed or Speed, but Speed from The Apple stuck in my head. And there's only one way to cure that, and that's just to watch the whole fucking movie, which I believe is on Amazon Prime. I think this is going to be an Amazon Prime hour for me, but I could swear I had a Blu-ray copy of The Apple. I thought I bought it. There's a Blu-ray out there, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I bought it when it came out, but must not have.
I mean, I know I finally broke down and bought the Blu-ray of Xanadu despite the non-legalization of LSD, but I figured it's
Yeah.
still time to own Xanadu on Blu-ray.
Important, very important. But yeah, if you want to watch a movie that makes you feel like you're on drugs without having to actually do drugs, please watch The Apple. It's on Amazon Prime.
I should watch
I've forgotten.
that since I missed that episode. I wasn't here for that one.
You should watch The Apple. It is absolutely nutty. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Mr. Boogaloo is just he's just laying down a masterclass in being a campy villain in every way imaginable, and I love it.
Vladek Scheibel
Sure,
is
that
the
sounds
actor.
that sounds right.
Yep.
And it's just nothing but religious allegory and campy dance / music numbers, presented in the most ludicrous way, with also the most ludicrous non-ending in the entire history of film, where spoiler alert, a man comes out of the sky in a semi-transparent golden Cadillac, and walks everyone who was in trouble off into the sky. End of the movie.
It's pretty wild.
Credits.
Yeah, but that's also the ending of Grease 1. So, I mean,
Did they walk
I mean,
into the sky?
Sandy and Danny just drive off into the
Yeah,
sky.
they drive
in a
off into
Cadillac.
heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
While
they
waving
do
at
the-
everybody, it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
okay, guess this is happening.
Yeah. So I think all those people got murdered by Boogaloo's goons in the end of that movie. But as ridiculous as it is, the songs still manage to be really. It's kind of like and some people, if you for 30 seconds just suspend the fact that Rocky Horror Picture Show it's not a cult movie anymore. It's a cultural phenomenon. It's a thing that everybody loves. But that's a real dumb movie with some songs that are way better than they deserve to be for that movie. Same thing with the Apple. The Apple deserves to like the Apple deserves to be as well regarded, I think, as something in the sort of camp weirdo musical genre as Rocky Horror, but nobody really knows about it for some reason.
My only counterpoint to that, and obviously you triggered me or something with the Rocky Horror reference, but I will always say that like the difference to me with like Rocky Horror is it feels like it was written by a musician who knew how to write catchy songs. The Apple feels like they were written by a jingle person, because it feels like they're just designed to get the fuck in your head. Like I don't know that they're good songs, but they get into your head hard. Like I can't trying to conjure one right now. Like I can't really like think of the words or anything, but like the melody is just or earworming into my head. It's still there.
Well, the Apple song is pretty good. Speed is definitely not about drugs.
Sure.
There's no way it could be about drugs. All she does is talk about how America needs to take a bunch of speed. No, that song's definitely about drugs. I was trying to think about when I was watching it, like I was like, how can I talk about this? Like, how can I come up with some like overblown allegory for what speed is about? And no, it's just about drugs.
Most of the best songs are.
You're not entirely wrong that they're very jingly, but they're way better than.
I would say most songs in the
movie
world,
deserves.
the best songs are about drugs.
Well, no, I mean they're just like way better than the movie deserves.
Sure.
Because it's ridiculous. Chuck, I heard a sharp inhale. You had
I find it funny. I was just looking back at our ratings for the Apple, and you were the lowest of the group.
And now I'm the Apple champion of the group.
Now you're out there like, hey man, I'm watching the Apple every day.
Well, that's how you keep the doctor away.
Exactly. Yeah, it's COVID time still. Got to keep
Jesus.
I forgot. Yeah,
I'm only half vaccinated.
Just watch the Apple.
I think I probably have rewatched the Apple more times than any of the rest of you, or either of the rest of you combined. But
I would say that's a fact.
There's something like the songs get into my head, and like that stupid "I'm Coming" song, where it's just like they're just singing "I'm Coming" for 6.5 minutes,
which is impressive.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
6.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's quite the.
Yeah, I think Sting did a cover of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It sure beats my record.
So sorry.
But it's such a delight. It's so stupid, and the whole dance sequence for the Apple song, or the whole scene, it's something you expect to have walked into a club in the like late 90s, early 2000s, and seen just projected on a wall while there was a bunch of crazy dance music going on. It's not anything you expect to exist outside of any space like that, but it's there. So later, I knew I was gonna be watching Godzilla versus Kong, so I wanted to watch Robot Jocks, because like giant things fighting each other is one of the best genres in film, and I don't know. I had gotten myself super hyped up in the last couple days for Godzilla versus Kong. So I was like, I'm going to watch Robot Jocks. And that way, if Godzilla versus Kong isn't what I wanted it to be, at least I will have watched Robot Jocks. And that's
sure. Yeah.
That's great. So, Robot Jocks is still like the greatest thing in the entire universe. I love it.
It's real good.
Yeah, and you
I
point
was
out
watching.
everyone wears masks.
Yeah, all the bleacher bums like who are going to see these robot jocks or robo jocks as they're referred to many times in the movie, contrary to the title and the other parts of the movie. Yeah, the bleacher bums go out into the world and wear masks all the time, and they're like, everybody's wearing them. So
Smart.
like, if a bunch of losers in whatever year Robot Jocks is supposed to have taken place could do it, then you can do it too. Still, just hang on, just a little while longer. I don't know what I can say about Robot Jocks that like we haven't already said. It's on Amazon Prime right now, Prime Video. It's a great transfer. So if you don't have a Blu-ray of it, go watch it there. Go watch fucking Robot Jocks. It's important.
It is. It is important.
It's vital, in fact.
Yes.
And
Yeah, this is not an
When-
option.
no, yeah, in the words
Fucking robot jocks.
in the words of
If you're
Zodiac,
actually listening to
motherfucker.
us, yeah.
Yeah. Not fucking optional. Also, they do crash and burn way more times than I thought they did for some reason.
It's
I thought
they're
it was
greeting.
yeah, I thought it was like a 3 or 4 times in the movie, but they do it like 15 times at least, which is glorious. It's awesome. Watch Robot Jocks. That is all.
Yes.
And it was
It's the
originally
best.
titled Robo Jocks. But
Yes.
the producers changed it because they figured people would get confused with Robo Cop.
Mm-hmm. Or get sued.
Oh, sure.
We don't want to get sued.
No, it's called the Shinnin. Yeah, it's weird because they refer to them as robot jocks and robo jocks in the movie. So
Maybe the robots are the robot jocks, and the people inside of them are the robo jocks. I don't know.
no,
No, no.
I think they're just the robots. But
I'm trying to create the Robot Jock cinematic universe. Okay, we've got to fix this continuity. We got to
The RC
we got to
RCU.
retcon this. Yeah. RJCU.
well, don't worry. That'll probably, unfortunately, never happen. The closest I think we will get for some time is Pacific Rim. That's like
Well, there's more now Titan movies than there are Pacific Rims, which we'll talk about
Yeah.
in the. I guess that's what we're calling it, the Titan verse. I don't know, like what the shared universe is. Did they ever give it a name, or did they just learn the lesson like with the Universal Dark Universe when they were like, oh, we can't actually call it anything. People just tear us
I thought it
apart.
was just the MonsterVerse.
Monsterverse. Okay.
yeah, I thought it was
Something
too.
like
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's like the I think that was eventually the direction that they wanted Robot Jocks, the Robot Jocks sequel to go, was for all of the Robot Jocks to team up and fight giant monsters. So I consider Pacific Rim its spiritual sequel, and I'm okay with that. And we don't talk about Pacific Rim 2, really.
It's fine. It's just
It's fine. Pacific Rim 2 is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Totally
the thing.
a
We
thing.
just
It needed to be more than fine.
It's better than either of the quote unquote sequels to Robot Jocks. So
Oh God, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Robo Wars was atrocious.
we really don't speak about Robo Horror.
no.
I don't because I got too drunk and fell asleep and never finished Robo War.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
And I couldn't tell you jack shit about Crash and Burn. Like not one goddamn thing.
it wasn't really. It was yeah. It was.
It was just
completely-
about people, and then they were like, "Hey, outside this diner, there's a Robot Jocks out there."
yeah. It seemed like it was set in that world.
Yeah.
It was like Robot Jock's Gaiden or
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah,
man.
that's all the news that I have to report from my movie watching world. I found out that How It's Made is on Hulu. So yeah,
So you're done.
yeah, I'm done.
I really like the How It's Made the video game one because it's from like 2002, and I think they're covering like one of the Prince of Persia games. They're like video games are made by a group of people. You know, it's like, oh my god, you guys, this is terrible. Like you know, it works for like manufacturing things, but then when it's like things with actual creative input,
Yeah.
like they do not know how to cover that. And I'm just like,
Absolutely not.
I'm like, did the Canadian board request that you do a Ubisoft thing? Or like, what is this?
Well, I think Hulu calls the season that I'm on season 26. So
Yeah, there's a lot.
you eventually run out of things to cover.
Yeah, we used to put that on. Like Jen needs the TV to go to sleep, and we always used to put that on because the voice was never going to get raised. It was always going to be a guy just kind of like, not really enthusiastically, but semi enthusiastically
Yeah.
talking about whatever the hell they're doing.
Just enough lilt in his voice
Yep.
to be interesting.
Yep.
I feel like
Yeah.
their final episode should be like how it's made is made. Like
It
behind
should
the
be.
scenes. I'm just saying, like, if you want to do that, like save it for the real last episode. It's like, here's how we filmed this. Just saying, if you're going to do a creative enterprise, you know, at least you know all the
Yeah.
facets of that.
That's actually, I believe,
Hopefully
what
they do.
the Adam Ruins Everything, that show. I don't think it's on anymore, but their last episode was basically ruining how they make an episode and then going over like all the errors that they uncovered that they'd made over the course of the series and that sort of stuff. So it's happened. Oh man. Before we get back to giant things smashing things, I got only a couple movies. First one I watched was on Hulu. It's called Kid 90, which is
Yeah.
Soleil Moon Frye put together all of her home video tapes that she made over like the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, and then eventually went back and watched them all. And she hadn't watched them, and she kept like phone recordings, all sorts of shit, basically. So it's kind of like this weird, heavily targeted Gen X nostalgia dose, basically, because it's like watching all this is just her and her friends just hanging out at parties doing drugs and being stupid, and then she smartly intercuts it with her like doing TV appearances where she's telling kids not to do drugs and all this other stuff, and then like they cut to someone's just firing up a snarl and bong and all that sort of shit. So it's pretty good. But yeah, like
Snarlin' bong. I love it.
yeah, but yeah, it's really weird because it's like all she did was hang out with like those young famous people. So it is just home video of all these people hanging out on couches and like doing road trips and just like doing dumb shit. Like it's basically, it made me glad that my friends didn't have video cameras that followed all of us around in high school all the time, because it would be this sort of shit and be like, man, we were really fucking stupid and we probably would have died a bunch of times.
Wasn't she like best friends with Sabrina, the witch girl? Like, I don't know at what point that started, but like,
Yes, but they don't really talk to her. She only talks to a few people in modern day.
Okay.
Like Steven Dorff shows up a lot.
I was just wondering, like, did she go like say, "I'm going to make this thing. You're going to show up in it"? Like,
She got releases
Yeah.
from everyone.
Okay.
Like young Leonardo DiCaprio's in it at certain points, and he actually executive produced it. So,
Okay.
whatever relationship she still has still exist. And it's interesting. It jumps pretty quickly from her like meeting Nancy Reagan as a little Punky Brewster, and it transitions pretty quickly into her being a teenager and kind of not being cast in anything more because she grew to like double E boobs in like a year, and said suddenly like she it basically kept her from getting cast in anything, and then she mentioned had surgery and they cover that stuff, but it just becomes like,
Did they talk about Pumpkinhead too?
yes, they do have clips of her in Pumpkinhead too,
Cool.
and how basically how she had to take whatever she could get and that sort of stuff. And it's like it's one of those that she doesn't know where to go with it. Like early on, the editing, the music choices, all that shit is just so spot on, and it's a lot. It reminded me a lot of what is the Danger Park one? The documentary.
action park.
Action, yeah,
Or,
whatever the
Class
name
Action
of it-
Park was the name of the show.
Class Action Park, yeah. Like it reminded me a lot of that, where it's like the footage you have is so good and so compelling that it's like, all right, just about anybody can put this together, and you're going to be like, yeah, this is interesting shit. But the problem is, then she kind of like doesn't know what it wants to be by the end of it, because then it's kind of like, yeah, and then we all came through it, and we were better people. It's kind of like we got over the drugs, and we, and it's
And there's no footage of that.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's like, it gets dark because it's like, okay, and then this person committed suicide, And then yeah, we all love this guy, and then he committed suicide, and it's like holy shit, like all these people you know committed suicide, and you know it's like, and then they show her like hanging out with the cast of Kids, which I had not thought about that movie Kids in ages,
Oh, holy shit.
but like yeah, like the skateboard dudes from it, like and
Oh,
Casper, the main one of the main guys, like apparently she was best friends with them in college in New York City in the mid '90s, and they just like all lived in a shitty apartment, hanging out, doing drugs and whatever all the time. So it's weird seeing shit like that, but like, and then the two that were in the movie both committed suicide, and it's like Jesus Christ, like how do you know this many people that have that have committed suicide? You know, so it's kind of it gets into a lot of that realm and how you know they all kind of had to deal with it, but I don't think it can't really find a conclusion, which is the problem. And the modern footage isn't really all that compelling. You know, the interviews that she does. It is interesting. There's like some stuff with Mark Paul Gosselaar where he talks about how that footage is really cool because that was before they all clicked in to like, oh, there's a camera. What am I doing right now? Which is like how their lives are now. Like if they ever hear a camera, they're just like, fuck, what was I doing? What was I just doing then? Because everyone everywhere is on a camera and it's going to be out on the internet in like a minute.
I mean, what the hell
And
is he worried about? He can just go time out and stop it whenever he needs to.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of the few interesting things that they don't totally explore, like how that this all this footage is just them like literally just not on, you know, because like whenever you meet famous people, they're either like fuck you, get away from me, or they're like they click in and they're like, yeah, I'm on, I got to be entertaining, you know. And it's like this is them actually being normal people, which is why so much of that old footage is really compelling, is because it's before they all kind of shifted into that mode. So yeah, I mean it's only an hour and like 15 minutes long, but I think it just kind of it's one of those that it needed to. I don't think she should have been the one to direct it, honestly, because she's too close to it. And I don't think that, and even though she's very open about a lot of things like losing her virginity to Charlie Sheen and shit like that, it's like, we don't, like, I just feel like someone else probably should have taken the reins and been like, all right, listen, here's how we need to shape this. Because I just don't think it ever forms into a thing that works totally. But again, it's like Class Action Park where it's like the footage is so good, it's like, yeah, I want to see this shit. So that's about all I can say about it. Aside from that, nostalgia. I watched The World's End again because you know I kind of went down that Edgar Wright journey. The ones with Bill Pope. I wanted to watch another Bill Pope movie as well, so watched that one with Jen. And I had forgotten how long that movie takes to get into the crazy shit because it's a good like almost hour in before it finally shifts into okay, here's what's going on, and I find that once it does that, it's a lot less compelling movie than what it is in that first hour when it's basically just like four dudes who have figured out their lives and they're all dealing with the one friend who just never did and is just actively trying to be a teenager still and them calling him out on it and trying to figure out what exactly they're going to do with him. That stuff's more interesting than when they get into all the fight scenes and stuff because the fight scenes are all the same in that movie, and I don't like that at all. But there's nothing that really differentiates any one of the bar fights from any of the other ones that are later in the movie, and it's just kind of a bummer to watch because it's like, oh, they're going to start fighting again, aren't they? You know, and I that should not be my reaction in that type of movie. It shouldn't be like, oh man, I guess we got to do an action scene again. You know, that like that it just feels wrong, but it's still I really appreciate where that movie's going, and it's weird that it has such a simultaneously optimistic view of humanity and super pessimistic view of humanity at the same time. Like like it I would love to just talk to Edgar Wright and be like, what were you going for? Like how do you feel about it? And I feel like it would depend on what day I ask him, what answer he'd give me. But I enjoy that there's a lot there to chew on, but I still feel like it's among the weaker of his. Jesus Christ, there's like fucking attack helicopters going over my house right now. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, I guess just whatever day you never know what answer he's going to give, but I still feel like it's probably still my least favorite of all of his because it just that first hour is super super solid, and then it just kind of falls apart because they're all getting intensely drunk as the movie goes on, and it just kind of like I feel like again much like the other movie, it just kind of loses his way and doesn't quite get there in the end. But I still like it a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's easily my least of. I hate to like assume something, but I also feel like maybe that was a time that like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg were like maybe succumbing to stardom a little bit. Kind of talking about what you were just talking about, like people starting to realize their place in the world. I think it felt less natural than it had felt in the previous team ups. Yeah. So it was like, oh, we got to do this again. People expect a certain level of thing from us or something. I feel like it was just like, here we go again. And it's just like, yeah, that's why the third thing always sucks is it's like people are usually fucking tired of doing it by then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I'm just wondering if it's a little bit of that crept in.
Have they also done Paul before this?
That's after.
Is it after? Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I think like they were maybe starting to get talks for things like that or something, like maybe starting to get offers of like, hey, it's a new comedy team, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, it's definitely a very different dynamic than the other two movies for sure, because, through so much of it, Nick Frost wants nothing to do with Simon Pegg.
Oh yeah. They're definitely like not really the best friends in that. It's more him and, what's his face, right? Isn't it? Like the one guy's kind of a little more sympathetic to him, the, Patty Constantine, right? Isn't he like the one that's like kind of like,
well, it's
give him a chance.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Nick Frost's character definitely has a reason for hating him, but he was like the best friend early on, and then eventually they explain why they're not anymore, why they're basically not friends at all. But yeah, I mean, the other two are kind of like, I think it's more like the other guys are just like, I don't want to rock the boat with this, less than being super sympathetic towards him, because they all like when he shows up, they're all kind of like, hey buddy, fuck you doing here? So, but yeah, it feels very much like one of those things that's targeted at a very specific age group, and not just the age group, but like the age group at that time period as well. So I don't know how well that movie works for people that aren't in that zone of of life experience, so to speak.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Mm-hmm. I forget. I have one more quick Titan thing to talk about before we talk about other Titans.
Okay.
I have to talk about a Titan of music. Somebody watch a documentary, biopic, if you will. That new Tina documentary on HBO is fucking great. That's a really well done documentary. Like I loved it. Like I mean, it's very rare for me to like walk away from a documentary and be like, that's a 5-star movie, and that was one for me, because it was just like, I was just saying that I don't like things that are just like, and this is what happens, and bleh. Like I feel like this has a very interesting question it's asking at the end of like, so many things, you watch fame documentaries and it's like, oh, isn't fame awful? You just can't be yourself. And yes, I get it. Also, like I've said in the past, go cry yourself to sleep on your huge pile of money, like you could walk away. But this does a very interesting job of like somebody that was just like thrust into fame, suddenly became famous, was in a shitty situation, but then was like, I like everything about what I'm doing except for the shitty situation. I want to keep doing it. And then kind of like coming to this realization of like, okay, I've done it, I've made it, like when do I want to walk away and how do I want to walk away, kind of thing. And it's just interesting because it runs this really interesting dynamic of like, how much does the entertainer want to give to the world versus what the world expects and maybe wants too much of. I just think it's got a point to it, unlike so many other ones where it's just like, fame sucks, am I right? Yeah, it's like sorry, can't relate.
What's the name of it?
It's just called Tina. It's Tina Turner's story. Yeah. But, yeah.
Did they cover her recording a certain song for a certain James Bond movie at any point?
No, actually, they don't talk about her doing GoldenEye. They have a section on her like doing Mad Max,
okay,
and stuff. But yeah,
yeah, she was in Mad Max,
right? I mean, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, they don't really go that far. I mean, I think just by that time they were like, the movie kind of gets to about mid-80s and be like, fuck, she made it. Like, you know, it's kind of like, clearly she's here. Like, it happened, you know, like we don't, you know, the only thing it really touches on, like after she clearly hits fame with like, what's love got to do with it and stuff like that and beyond. It's just like, okay, like, fucking stop asking her about Ike Turner, you pieces of shit. Like, the information was clearly out there in 1981 and all these like fucking talking head bullshit assholes are just like, and what is it with Ike and Tina? Am I right? And it's just like, fuck you. Like, the whole fucking story was told in like 1979. Like, it was out there. Like, she got divorced, or 81, I think was the People magazine thing where it was like, it actually got exposed. But I mean, it was like she'd been divorced and shit. It's like, you could look this up. It's do a little fucking research and maybe don't like ask the person about their fucking horrible abuser of many, many, many years. You know, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, you just want to reach in the screen and be like, fucking shit. Like, just
shit.
yeah. I mean, there's just shit where it's like you could just see like her. You know, it's amazing she can sing anymore because she's biting her tongue so much because she always wanted to be like happy and, you know, never like, you know, if you don't have anything nice to say, I think she was like raised that way. You know, it's just like it was always smile and talk about a thing when you're on camera, but it was like it was clearly like fuck you for. Like, yeah. Anyway, yes, let's talk about true, actually huge, giant titans.
And we take a quick break first, please?
Sure. We'll
Great.
take a quick break. Fucking with you. I didn't have anything like an actual sign up. You're like, and?
And
Fan on. Getting warm in here.
I gotta go stretch some stuff out. I'll be right back.
Hey, Chuck.
hey,
How you doing, man?
good.
Did you get to watch Kong and Godzilla with your family? Or did you say
Oh,
no?
I already had a
This
plan.
This is my time.
I had a plan and I stuck to it.
So you're watching it again with them this weekend?
Yeah.
Cool.
Did I just now realize that he had Bonzi behind him the entire time?
He did.
I didn't know that.
He was just blocking it with his head. I did not know Bonzi Buddy sang.
I didn't either.
I never installed Bonzi Buddy.
I didn't either. I just uninstalled it a lot. On other people's computers.
Understandable. What actually did it do? Was it one
Apparently
of those,
it searches and
reporting back to
emails and
somebody?
browses and sings and
But I mean,
ILs.
did it like? Who was it reporting back?
It
to
stole
someone?
your data.
Yeah, it was a spyware deal.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't a real buddy at all. It's like that buddy that gives you drugs. They're not your buddy. They're not your pal.
It was all a big Bonzi scheme.
Yes, it was a Ponzi scheme.
Chuck.
See, I don't even shake my head because I appreciate shit like that. I never will give you like, hey, fuck you, buddy. Look,
Chuck gave the look I usually give
I know, and you're not going to get that from me. I'm like, it is a Ponzi scheme. You're absolutely right. I just roll with puns. They're part of my, everyday lexicon.
you. Mm-hmm. So with the standing desk, Jen got like this little board thing that you can like balance on to kind of like give yourself some exercise. It reminded me so much of the Tony Hawk Ride board.
Which is here.
Yeah,
I thought I
except-
was going to leave it. I thought I left it behind in the old house at one point in time, but it's
No.
here. It's in this house right now. I could
It
go
was a
get
drink
it.
coaster for a long time.
I know
Was.
where it is. I could go get it right now. I
Yeah.
can also get my HDMI VCR player out of the closet right now.
Wait, there's an HDMI VC. How did you get one of those?
Because it's a DVD recorder / VCR,
Oh,
and it has
okay,
HDMI output.
Wow.
So if I ever need
I
it,
remember
it's there.
someone saying like True Lies, the only HD version is the digital VHS version, was in 1080i.
Digital VHS. I don't even remember
Yeah.
this shit.
There was about a year where there was a digital VHS thing. I had a player.
Wow.
And that is the only version of True Lies that's in HD.
maybe
least
that
was
must be what's on
commercially available.
fucking, what did I say? What did I tell you was on that was on recently? Was it Amazon
It's-
Prime?
I thought it was like a network.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Because
No,
I know a lot of the time people were like, MGM HD is going to be showing this at this time, record it.
yeah, this was on one of the streaming services because I was in the Discord. Like somebody was just like, "Where the fuck is our HD True Lies and Avatar?" And I was like, "It may not be Cameron approved, but there's an HD print of it over here." I just watched it.
Yeah, that's one I need to see again. It's been ages and ages since I've seen that. A good at least 20 years.
I think I can safely say it's the best Tom Arnold performance that's ever existed.
That is true.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like he's actually good in the movie. I'm not just like he's tolerable. He's actually kind of the perfect person for that role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember Bill Paxton being quite good in that too.
He's a super piece of shit, but yes, he's good at it.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically like I think it's like if Chet grew up from Weird Science, that would be who he was. Like I know that's still Bill Paxton. I just mean like specifically that character was Chet all grown up. All right, let's do this.
Do monkey talk.
All right, well I guess we had a break. We haven't done a break in a while, so this feels interesting.
Hey, BMFcast, second half.
Hey,
Half number 2.
It's
still a
still-
motherfucking video game.
Nope.
No.
We don't say
Wrong
that.
one,
on this
Chuck.
one. But we are going to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. I think we kind of said all we need to say at the beginning. That's not spoilery, which is to say, go watch it.
Yes.
Last thing I want to say before we go into full spoiler territories, was it you, BJ, who's not seen King of the Monsters and watched this? Or
Correct.
what about you, Mackie? Have you seen them all?
Yes, I've seen them all.
Okay.
I watched King of the Monsters on a plane.
Okay.
So I don't remember a lot about King of the Monsters. Even if it was an unedited version, it was on a little screen, and
Sure. Probably not
I
the
remember.
way to experience it.
No, the best way to watch it.
I remember.
Well, that's
like
the
watching
Zack,
Tenet
that's
on
the
your
Zack
phone.
Snyder version of...
Yes,
Zack-
I remember.
the Snyder cut.
It's in widescreen as well.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a long flight. But yes, I have seen it. I did not remember anything except, oh yeah, Millie Bobby Brown was in that, and so was
Kyle Chandler.
was it Kyle Chandler,
Yeah.
the coach from Friday Night Lights?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and her mom was Vera Farmiga, but she died.
She gone.
Yeah.
I do remember that as well. But yeah, and that Godzilla became king of the monsters by defeating all the other monsters.
Yes,
And there was a woolly mammoth.
which he never fought, but it was there. Yeah.
Yes. Those are the things I remember from that movie. And that there was a lot of Godzilla as opposed to 2014's Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. There was also
Which-
like I would say there was an equal amount of Godzilla to 2014's Godzilla as there was King Kong in Kong Skull Island to Peter Jackson's King Kong. Like I seem to remember Peter Jackson's King Kong being a whole lot of movie with not that much Kong. Like I mean, seem to remember it being like 3 hours long, and Kong's in maybe the last hour.
I remember it being a whole lot of movie.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't. That's not even like. Is that part of the this universe, or is
No.
Kong Skull Island a total
Oh, no,
reboot?
No, Skull Island's part of this one. But King
No,
Kong
I know
is not.
Skull Island,
Peter
but like
Jackson's
Peter
King
Jackson's
Kong is
Kong
not connected.
because I mean
Not
it,
related.
it could be because that was
Could
also
be.
that was a period piece thing. Like and I mean so is Kong Skull Island. It's just like that could have
Different
been.
studio.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So not connected. Fine.
Nope.
So no references. But not that there's really any carryover in this besides Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler showing up for maybe a minute or two.
Yeah,
Just to
I
be
feel
like,
like
"Hey,
they
I'm here
explained
still."
everything that you would need to know about either of them.
Yeah. I mean, as Chuck pointed out, I guess King of the Monsters did rather poorly, so they pretty much jettisoned everything from that as far as continuity, because
They were trying to build this whole connected monarch story.
yeah, which
And
I was
this
kind
is
of
barely-
I was kind of in for, and then it's like I was like, I don't know why. I'm a little disappointed by that. I'm not disappointed by the movie in general. It's just like, I guess I'm one of the weird people that likes things having a connective tissue like that. Like when I realized, like I did the homework. I went back and watched 2014's Godzilla because I had not done that since 2014, I think. And I watched King of the Monsters. I had seen Skull Island fairly recently, so I skipped that. But yeah, I was just like, I was really picking up on like shit I hadn't really thought that they realized that they thought out before. And like, oh, Corey Hawkins in this one in Skull Island becomes the doctor guy who's, because it's in the 70s, it's like early 70s, and then, he's Joe Morton with like grown up, and it's like, okay, that's cool, and that's the same character, and, they brought Kurosawa or whatever his name was, Sarakawa, what the hell is his name? Sarazawa, thank you. I was going to get there. Obviously not Kurosawa, I know that, but but anyway, I'm just like, they did all these like nice connective things, and, bringing everybody back even in small roles, and stuff, and and then it's just like, nah, that doesn't matter. You're here for monsters fighting, right? Which is fine. Like I said, it's a little disappointing because it just feels like there was no budgetary reason to jettison all that. I mean, maybe other than like casting another person or two, but you also like casted fairly sizable names in no reason roles anyway.
Yeah, Lance Reddick is in it for literally 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, they went to Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey,
Jones
that's
says,
Lance Reddick.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
You're Lance Reddick. And he goes, and he doesn't even respond because he only had one line.
Because they've cut away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they've already cut away from Lance Reddick.
Yes.
Yeah, but I guess like when you talk about movies that have studio interference, this feels like one in a lot of ways, but it also feels like the best possible scenario when that happens, because I feel like they didn't fuck up anything that we came there to see.
No.
Because like, I mean, the way I look at it, I could nitpick the shit out of so many things in this movie, but then I remember this is a movie where a giant lizard fights a giant gorilla and fucking wrecks Hong Kong that's coated in neon.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you start nitpicking, you know what? Fuck yourself, because that's not what we're here for.
Well, I'm nitpicking, I guess.
This movie delivers.
I will clearly fuck myself, I guess.
No, but I'm saying, like, if you're like, well, wait, how does the Hollow World work? How Hollow Earth stuff happen? Like, fuck you. Who cares?
Like I said,
giant things fighting each other.
The only thing for half
but
a second.
I mean,
is
I understand where you're coming from. What you're saying is like they set up all these things that they never followed through on.
Yes, I mean, in fact, to the point that like I didn't even realize the one dude was supposed to be the guy's son. Like I never even caught that name.
I didn't know it until it came up in the Discord.
Did.
Yeah, I had no idea.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was like, that would have been a little nicer to point that out a little more, explicitly, because I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah. And
wait, who was supposed to be whose son?
The guy
the
who
Jaeger
was
pilot guy.
The mecha was supposed to be Sarazawa's son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know who Sarazawa is anyway.
You didn't.
So. He's the let them fight guy.
Yes.
Okay.
He hasn't seen that.
Well, you saw the first Godzilla, right? The 2014 one? Not the first Godzilla, the first in this.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in that one,
let them
too.
fight guy.
Yeah.
He says, let them fight.
Okay.
And then
will
he
forever
nods.
be known for let them fight.
That's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, like, it feels like the same thing with, as someone pointed out in the Discord, The Predator, where it's like, you cast Jake Busey, and then you didn't reference the fact that he's Gary Busey's son. Like it's that exact same thing where it's like, yeah, we did this thing, and this one, the character is named specifically that, and it's like, okay, that's who that was, and nobody acknowledged it in any way or anything.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of.
It's possible they didn't say it in the movie, and it was only in the credits. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe why I had no clue. I'm clearly not one of those people who was just like, oh, he's Asian. He must be that guy's son.
Yeah.
I didn't do
the
that.
The same thing with scientist guy. I don't even know his name, but the one they come to, they recruit to lead the mission. They have a whole story about his brother and how he got there, and then the gravity shifted and he got crushed. And it's like, man, I don't remember that from King of the Monsters. And it's like, no, that didn't happen in King of the Monsters. That didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
That's
that
just a
happened
thing that
between
happened
movies.
to make this man sad.
Yeah.
Which was unnecessary. Like that's what I mean. It's just like, it feels like, I guess that's what is annoying. I feel like that's what I hate. I'm not putting this on the same level, but it's what so many people, I think, have trained themselves to think when they see things larger than humans fighting each other on screen. Is the Michael Bay Transformers movies have ruined our brains, where it's like when there are, even when there's tribal tattoos, sentient tribal tattoos fighting each other on screen, it's not going to make a lot of sense, but it's going to make even less sense when the humans are babbling about whatever thing. And that's just like, hurry up and get the fuck back to the Transformers fighting. So I think there's like a certain part of the market that is just like, when people are talking in these movies, it is going to make no sense. So blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying this one is as bad. It's very annoying because if you're paying any attention to the human parts, which, considering 60% or more of the movie still is, probably closer to 80, it's like, why, you know, I know that our brains couldn't handle 2 hours of monkey versus, you know, lizard, but
Speak for yourself.
Maybe your brain.
I know, but I mean, you know, nobody would go for that if like there was like never any word said and it was just like, okay, fight for a long time. But
Yeah,
I just,
well,
if you're gonna waste our time with the humans and you've like kind of sort of started setting up this like Marvel-esque intertwining thing, it doesn't fucking cost you anymore to keep going with it. Like it literally just keep doing it. Like
It's weird. This does kind of feel like okay, we're done.
yeah,
Because
Sort of,
like there's not even a after credit scene or any kind of like this is looming, you know.
Right.
Even King of the Monsters had the tease for Godzilla versus Kong in it, and this is just like, well, we have no idea if this is going to make money, so we're not going to bother setting up a story.
yeah. I mean, fucking bringing in Mechagodzilla as like the secret hidden villain is kind of like, oh yeah, we're just getting it all in now because we're probably not going to be able to do this again. You know,
I just like.
Yeah, we're
I
not
had-
getting to Space Godzilla. That's just not going to happen.
I know the toy spoiled it for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
I forgot about the toy completely.
oh, I had no idea except for
And
like
then all of a sudden, there's fucking Mechagodzilla, and I'm like, holy shit! Somebody convinced them to give them a $200 million budget to fucking put Mechagodzilla on goddamn screen as the big bad.
it's weird because
I guess we should say we're fully into spoilers
Oh yeah,
territory.
by the way, whatever.
Now.
Yeah, sorry.
So ding.
Yeah. Well, I didn't click any of the Funko links or anything. I muted the spoiler channel for, you know, people speculating on it. I was not thinking Mechagodzilla even in the slightest, honestly. And then like for some reason, it was like the fifth time they said Apex, and then like they went to that place, and I was just like, "There's fucking Mechagodzilla in here, isn't there?" Like I don't know why. It wasn't in my head at all. It was just like there was a certain like I don't know slight tipping in the hand a couple of scenes earlier where I was just like, "They're fucking doing this, aren't they?"
Well,
Well,
I was
go ahead.
I was fully aware of Mechagodzilla because in another Discord I'm in, they're like, "Oh, here's literally all the links to all the, you know, all the toy spoilers. Let's talk about it in the open."
Those are toilers, by the way.
Yes, they have, you know, no respect.
They just work all day. They're toilers.
But yeah, so I was well aware of Mechagodzilla's presence in this, and I was like, yeah, that obviously he's going to be the big bad that fights, that they have to team up and fight, or he'll be the good guy. I don't know. Who cares? I just knew he was going to be there, but still, the fucking reveal of Mechagodzilla was awesome. They just gave so much time and effort and love into showing you like how big and badass Mechagodzilla is. If I have a gripe with this, I feel like Mechagodzilla kind of got punked, but and in a couple stupid ways. Like,
Yeah, but the thing about a giant robot Godzilla is that you can build another one.
yeah, that's true, but like,
Well, can they though? Because it also they were like drifting with King Ghidorah's head or something, and he was uniquely served by having the psychic link from
That's-
his multi heads and
That's
stuff.
why you need two people to drift.
well, there
'Cause
are
if-
also
If you try to drift with one dude and one Ghidorah, you're gonna
Yeah.
get fucking
you
wrecked.
can't Ghidorah done.
yeah, they need what was the 3-armed
My wife. I don't.
no, what was the 3-armed robot in Pacific Rim? What was that? Crimson Typhoon.
Crimson Typhoon. Yeah.
Yeah, they need a Crimson Typhoon sort of thing where they got all 3 Ghidorah heads and 3 drift capable people.
Are you saying that because it's the Asian robot out of Pacific Rim? Is I'm kidding.
No,
I'm fucking with you.
No, because
Oh,
we're doing the 3 thing.
I know.
yeah.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
It's just coincidence.
Yes.
I did wonder why they didn't have 3 Ghidorah heads or something, or at least acknowledge the fact
Well,
that
you gotta
there
have
were 2
have a
others.
backup Ghidorah head. It's like keep them in the cooler, and just like in case one of your other heads breaks.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be Godzilla and Kong versus Mecha King Ghidorah in the next one.
Actually,
Which
now
is
I'm thinking
a-
about it, I think Godzilla
They-
ripped one of Ghidorah's heads off specifically
Yeah.
and like chucked it into the ocean. Or well, I mean,
Yes.
they could go get it. Clearly, they can go anywhere they need to and get.
They
anything.
had one in Pensacola.
Right,
So
I know what I'm saying. Like they probably have it, even if Godzilla squished it or whatever. I don't know.
Man, Pensacola getting represented in a Godzilla movie.
Jesus Christ. Why did they pick Pensacola? Like,
Because there's a
the
big
Pensacola
naval
Department
base
of
there?
Film give them $200 million.
They're like, hey, please come destroy Pensacola.
I think they just pick random like military cities where people are like, yeah, they probably have that there. I heard they have like military things there, so they probably have a big giant hyperloop
Has
thing here.
anybody heard of Pensacola?
Wings of Gold, baby. That was a fucking national show, man.
It was a national show. I yelled that out when planes appeared in Pensacola to fight Godzilla.
I'm not gonna
I was
lie.
like, wings ago.
I did too. Yeah, I did that audibly too because I'm also a fucking idiot. I did the same thing. Arms up, wings go.
I didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half of the BMFcast is stupid. We know this.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
at least. Small gripes. Like these are just this is just movie gripes in general. Like airplanes in crazy disaster movies fly way too close to whatever the disaster thing is. And I know it's because you have to fly those planes close so that Godzilla can swat those fucking things out of the air and make a giant explosion and make it look awesome. But like
I liked the one guy.
I'm
that
glad they
thought he
did
would-
because in the real world you would never see those planes. They'd be like 5 miles away firing missiles and would
Yes.
never even come close to Godzilla. I know if I was a fighter pilot, I would keep my plane far, far away from the thrashing evil tail of the King of the Monsters.
I mean, the planes are one thing. The boats are what bother me because planes can get out of the way real fast. Big giant destroyers and shit don't turn quick, like not real quick, or they don't
Yeah,
stop
I-
real quick or turn real quick. And yeah,
I don't. Well, that's the thing that even if they were far away, they
Sure.
don't have a chance. When the King of the Monsters is swimming for you, you
my
can't.
God, that's Godzilla's music.
I thought it was a
That's why
real
they
bad
were
idea.
avoiding areas he was in.
I thought it was a real bad idea to put all the important characters who were central to the plot on the same boat with King Kong, which is most likely the boat that's going to get fucked up.
Well, yeah, but then
There needed to be a small support staff to pilot that boat, and that's it. The main characters did not need to be on that boat.
they should have been in a helicopter or something, way out of
Yes.
the way.
Yeah,
But-
it's like he's going to wake up and he's going to fuck this boat up.
And again,
But then they can't put them in mortal peril when
Right.
the plot calls for it. So
I know it's like whatever they jettisoned the last movie, but like they had their fucking like giant stealth bomber like helicarrier thing. I'm just saying like we were talking about Monarch that had fucking shield money. I'm just saying like they had this like flying wing fortress thing that was huge, and I don't know. It's just like best you could do is a cargo ship and some chains. Like I don't know. It's just like why I'm just saying why didn't they start with like some crazy skyhook thing to begin with? It's like hey,
Well, they spent all their money on that holodeck for Skull Island to make Kong think it was sunny out.
sure, I suppose yeah. But I
'Cause
just
at some point in the past, the storms came.
right. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
like, I would
it's
feel like you
also-
would go for the skyhook method first, especially with an aquatic lizard, swimming around that
Yes.
could come up at any point in time. I'm
Yes.
just thinking
Well-
maybe boat's not your first choice.
okay, for practical purposes, like airplanes consume a lot of fuel. Helicopters especially consume a lot of fuel when you're doing your giant like 45 helicopter sky crane thing.
Right.
Helicopters are notoriously difficult to refuel midair.
Well, if you get Kong killed and wait around long enough, you'll have more fuel.
We don't have that kind of time.
Okay.
And they also were really sure that they could boat around the areas of influence. So that was a mistake, but
Yeah. I just want to point out I like that the one pilot has that like I'm going to escape moment in his F-22, and it's just like it's just
Yeah,
like
because Kong
nope.
picked up his plane and threw it at Godzilla.
No, you're not.
he did eject at least. At least he had
Yes.
the presence of mind to eject. So
He did, yeah.
there's one person that didn't die that should
Yes. Millions died in this film.
have. Oh, yeah.
Millions of people just fucking died.
Yeah, I didn't want to, but like somehow Chuck's Avengers gripe popped in my head where I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like, especially because wasn't there one shot where they're just like, or maybe that's in the last movie. There's one shot where there's just people literally like, still working in their office, which is like the most.
Yes, that
believable.
was
first
in
one.
this, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But this
That
one
was in
also,
this
but
too.
yeah, but I'm just like that's
first one,
the most
like-
believable corporate thing I've ever seen. Where it's just like, get back to work. Don't act like you've never seen a fucking kaiju battle.
Yeah, both the first one and this one just had people just working, just like, oh
Yeah.
shit,
I did
monsters
like that-
outside.
That in the existence of this world, they had Titan shelters.
Yes,
But yes, I mean, as I was watching that, I couldn't help but have a little bit of the Avengers gripe of like, Jesus Christ, he's literally just picking himself up and probably murdered 50,000 people just by leaning on this, skyscraper and knocking it over.
it's weird. They have CG'd casual shots of them just kind of stumbling a bit and taking a chunk out of a building. Just there are all these casual moments like I'm going to use this skyscraper to pick myself up. Oh, that building's wrecked. It's like
That's what I
that's
mean.
an 80-story building.
Again, like I said, did not cloud it. I just every once in a while I found my brain going like, oh,
Yeah, boy.
I just have to say, like, before we get too much farther, like, for any of the nitpicks that I've made or that you guys have made, I fucking loved this. I had a blast watching it. Like,
Yes,
it
it's a lot of fun. We're just talking about the dumb shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the most fun I've had with a movie like this since Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
The action scenes are on par with those as far as like big shit battling each other in the middle of a city.
yeah.
They're
I still think
excellent.
Pacific
Like,
Rim's detail, despite it being that much an older movie, is still a little higher. Because I mean, I'm just saying from a like, let's watch this as a showcase of 4K. Don't get me wrong, the Hong Kong fighting in this is spectacular, and I would recommend it on anybody to show off their new HDR TV and yada yada yada. But like, I still think Pacific Rim like is just the king as far as like the level of detail in that movie is just absolutely insane. Like when you can blow that up and just like all of the moving gears and stuff and all the Jaegers. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, like I said, this still is like amazing looking, especially the crazy Hong Kong battle, which is like the showpiece of this movie, really.
yeah, nobody hits anyone with a cargo ship
Yeah, no.
in this movie.
No,
so.
but
Badly.
he does wield a helicopter landing pad at one point in time. He picks that up off the top of a building and
He
whacks
does.
Godzilla with it. Or no, he uses it as a shield.
No, he uses
Yes.
it as a shield.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yes, he Captain America's him. He shields him and then is like fling.
I appreciate how many times their fight would have been over by Godzilla just unleashing his atomic fire on him and Kong knowing every single time how to block it. Like every single time. He's like, oh, it's coming. And he's just like, nah, I'm gonna jerk your head like this. I'm gonna stuff this axe down your throat like he did with the tree and the gift that
Yeah.
everyone's seen a million times. I mean,
Well, like, I mean, to be fair, Godzilla telegraphs that thing every fucking time.
oh sure. Well, you got to charge it. So
It's like a sneeze. You
Yeah.
know, you got
Yeah.
everyone knows you're about to sneeze.
right. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh man,
There's-
like because there's all kinds of like weird body mods that people do. I mean, tattoos being the most basic into like branding and stuff like that. Could I actually hook it up so I could have like Godzilla fins that light up when I'm about to sneeze? Because I would do that. That is something. Sign
yeah.
me the fuck up for that. Like if I'm like, it's like, I would do that.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
I would
know a
support
guy.
that. I don't want
Yeah.
to do it, but
I think it was you, Chuck, that pointed out that they just tron the fuck out of everything.
yes.
Like any technical area with computers or anything, they're like, no, this is Tron.
Someone told them about HDR and they were like, you know what? This thing is going to fucking pop in HDR everything because like even like the computer graphics on screens were purple and bright as shit. And, everything's lit with like blue neon tubes and, the Geeter ahead like is just this pink neon nightmare that a dude is just sitting in, it's weird. I've seen a lot of people ding it for that and ding it for the score, but holy shit, man, give me just neon and synth and that's the best. Just like movies don't do that anymore.
I'm gonna
And
dig the
this-
score too. I'm gonna dig the score only because like they kept creeping around the Godzilla theme and it was pissing me off. And I don't understand because it's all over King of the Monsters. Like every 3 seconds, it's like, burr, burr, burr. It's just like, okay.
It's weird, and then when they do it, it's one note off, which
Right.
doesn't make a lot of sense. That's pretty strange.
I was
but
like,
whatever.
the thing that needs to happen, the thing like that will make me happy, because they went into the credits of the last one with the cover of the Blue
Right.
Oyster Cult version. I was like, I want the Pharaoh March, I want that to fucking like, if that had kicked off the fight, I would have shit myself and declared this the greatest movie ever made. Like, I actually would have shit myself if like those notes had happened, and then it started with that bass line afterwards, and then the fight started. I would be like, I would have flipped up all the tables and be like, I'm done. I'm never seeing another movie again.
What song is this that you wanted?
Fuck. Simon Says, right? It's the
Yeah.
yeah. Simon Pharaoh Munch. It's actually Monch. But
Yeah, don't
Huh.
know it.
you don't know that? Like,
No.
okay.
I'd probably have to hear it, and then I'd.
Who is it by? By whom is
Pharaoh
it?
Munch. It's the dude's name. It's Monch.
Sorry, we're not cultured enough.
I don't know Simon Says. I mean, fuck. I think.
Oh, this is a rap.
yes, it is a rap.
Okay.
Oh, this is that rap.
Wow.
He's one of those
Simon
rapists.
Says, "Get the fuck up." I mean, I know they would have had to edit it or whatever. I didn't even need the words. I'm just saying, like, if it had stuck, gone in from like the Godzilla theme into the instrumental version of that, and they started fighting, that would have been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, yeah,
since, like I
mean-
said, they've played with other themes of the genre. Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, the two big fights in this movie are top-notch shit, and they're inventive in different ways than I was expecting as well. And I love the way they film all of it. It's like they show the action as much as possible in the best possible ways, and which is the huge complaint I had about Godzilla 2014 was they're just like, no, we're not going to show you much action until the very end, and here they're like, no, here you go, dude. you waited for it. Here it comes.
Yeah, I almost thought they started it with action too early with the Pensacola thing. Like it was just like, hey, we're having a day in Pensacola. Oh shit, Godzilla's here. I was like, whoa, pace yourselves, guys. Let's not do this so quickly. But then, whatever.
Yeah.
We had to get right away to, Godzilla's evil now. We gotta, what's up with that?
Godzilla's
Like-
not evil. He's just mad. Like,
Yeah, I do appreciate that there was no question of like, why did Godzilla do this? They're like, this weird cybernetics laboratory in Pensacola.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would Godzilla do this to our big, beautiful, innocent cybernetics company?
Yeah, I love that they make a huge deal out to it, and they're like, 8 people died. And it's like,
Yeah.
8 people? You guys got off light.
right.
Like, fuck.
They
I
killed
mean,
1 million people in the last fight.
Yeah.
Um,
But like, I just wondered, like, what is it that Adam Wingard did for them to go, all right, man, how about you make a Godzilla versus King Kong movie? Because it's like, you made a bunch of horror movies before this, basically.
I mean, the guest, there's aspects where you can see the DNA of this. Like he plays with light and stuff in that really well. I can't speak to. I'm not going to watch a Death Note because I don't give a fuck about an anime. And if you try to come at me with it, I will block you. But
As is our custom.
yeah, but yeah, and I mean, I don't give a shit about his Blair Witch thing either. So it's just like I don't know since The Guest. Like I can say his early stuff was like very promising, but like how we made this jump because I didn't see those. I mean, I think Death Note is like, if nothing else, is supposed to be like really crazy visually. I just think most people that like the anime thought this sucked, and it probably means it's good. So maybe I should watch it.
And I mean, like, he did a terrific job. Like, I really think this is a well-directed movie. And, like, I just think about so many things. Like, when you watch a movie of this scale, you're like, God, this movie would be a pain in the ass to make. I would not want to have to make this movie. And I just, it's one of those things where I'm just like, what pitch did he give that they're like, yeah, you're our guy? Like that's the stuff I always wonder about when you have some dude who just like jumped from little things to suddenly this huge thing.
I
But
think
this
the
one,
last
it is
guy-
even like the DNA is there,
Last Guy too, Michael Dougherty, who had only directed a handful of horror movies and then all of a sudden is making this $200 million movie. They probably just pitched it well. They probably just were calling in people who were like, hey, you've directed things, so you can direct things. What is your idea for a Godzilla thing? And if they're like, oh shit, I love Godzilla, let me tell you about, okay, so the Hong Kong, right? And it's all neon and shit, and they're all like, grah, and then, it's like, rah, and then it's like, okay, you're hired. That's great.
I like to imagine they have little toys while demonstrating. Like,
yes.
Then he's going to pop his shoulder back in like this.
Oh my god, that. So it was at like 3 3/4 stars until the moment where Godzilla gets up after being defibrillated and fucking rigs maneuvers his shoulder back into socket.
You mean Kong?
I was like, 5 stars. This is the greatest thing I will see this year.
And didn't someone point out that Lethal Weapon 2 is credited in the
Yes.
credits?
Like,
I
is it
missed it,
credits
but somebody said
or
that.
special thanks too? Or is it
It's like footage courtesy, and they were like courtesy, Godzilla, Skull Island, King of the Monsters, because there's a bunch of that stuff in the opening credits, and then Lethal Weapon 2, and I was like, did they take that scene from Lethal Weapon 2 and just like
digitize it?
put the CG over it? I really want someone to compare the two. Because
I'll be happy to.
They might have.
I mean, if you're asking me to go watch Lethal Weapon 2 and then that scene again, sure, I'll be happy to.
Yeah.
Do it and report back to us tomorrow.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon 2 is the best one.
Yeah. My other favorite monkey move was he does a Superman punch off of a building.
Yeah.
Like, you know how the UFC fighters will do like a Superman punch off of the cage? And I'm like, that motherfucker just did a Superman punch. Not only a Superman punch, but off of the fucking building. This is the best.
Yeah. I really wish I wasn't the guy that was like upset by some of the human stuff, because like it otherwise it would like be so much higher. But I don't know. I feel like very mildly betrayed, because it was like I felt like I was getting invested in their cobbled together, cinematic universe, and then I was just like, that matters. And actually, like we put 11 in this again, but it doesn't really fucking matter. She's not the same character now. She's a conspiracy nut, and it really has like I gotta be honest, like I like all 3 of the people that were running around in that little anti-conspiracy group. I fucking hated their storyline. I hate it like every time they were on screen. I like all 3 of those people doing their own thing. The 3 of those, they had no chemistry together, and I really didn't like what Brian Tyree Henry was doing with his, Lex Luthor.
They were 3 very distinctly different personalities and actors, and all of them were trying to be the funny one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need one of you to take this seriously.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like I was like, there's got to be a straight man. Like, why? How the fuck? Like, you can't really actually Indiana Jones your way into this. Like, like, yeah, I don't know. It just
I did like it though when they're in the control room and people see them and he's just like, no, I work here. It's okay. No, don't tell that man. Ah.
Yeah, I think some of the jokes landed, but that part was a little bit of a mess.
yeah. Like I said,
but God, like their whole thing at the end, it was just like, I can guess the password, and it's like, really? I don't think you're going to be able to do that. And then they're just like, nah, just pour water.
Oh no, I got locked out. I don't know.
Just dump some water in the vents and that'll do it.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I feel like
30-year-old scotch, but yeah.
Sure.
I feel like somebody was like plotted all of the fight bits while they were still writing King of the Monsters, and then they just came in and like the studio rewrote the entire human bits. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Because like when it's monster stuff doing, monster people doing monster things, and like I also kind of like the Rebecca Hall, like her. I thought her character and the little girl and all that was like well thought out, so I could see that was maybe from an early draft.
That had to be in the
original draft. All right, so,
They
but
were
like,
fine.
but I'm just saying, like it was like everything else was just like, oh well, shit, we already have a contract for Millie Bobby Brown to come back and do another one, but we're jettisoning this, so fuck, like that's what it felt like. It was just like, well, we got to rewrite this, and I don't know. Like I said, it's just like it pisses me off because it's like you've got the people. It doesn't cost you any more to write it better. That's what I mean. It's like I could see like, well, this didn't make very much money, so like let's scale back and like put all the money into the special effects, but like you still have a huge cast of characters. Like
bringing back Millie Bobby Brown meant they had to bring back Kyle Chandler in
Right.
some way, because other it wouldn't, because she's still too young to be like on her own or something.
Right.
But man, that dude serves literally no purpose in this
None
movie.
whatsoever. And also, like, no mention of her mother. I mean, well, briefly, it's just like, oh shit, you're her daughter, and
Yeah.
you know, like that's about it. It's like
She's not in this movie.
well,
I know, but it's just weird. Like Kyle Chandler's just like, I'm in Pensacola, and then they're like, we need you in Hong Kong. He's like, all right, and then he's like,
then
my
he's
daughter's
there.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Like getting to Hong Kong takes a long fucking time.
yeah.
well, not via
That's
hyperloop
what,
or whatever.
a 13-hour flight?
Also, I'm trying to figure out, was their hyperloop also like predicated on there being basically like a black hole in the middle of the Earth? Because I'm very confused. Like they
Well,
hit
there's
some,
no black hole in the middle of the Earth. There's just a thing.
but it was
in
like
the
they
middle
went
of the
through a
Earth.
singularity,
sunlight.
like a wormhole or something. It was like there was some spatial
Yeah.
bridge in the middle of Earth. Like it wasn't just like, hey, we went down a hole and the gravity went upside
Yeah.
down. It's like they actually hit some sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like they went into warp speed.
Yeah.
They did have that
They
kind
hit
of
the-
effect.
They breached the veil or something like that. Like
I did like, this made me laugh. So the whole like journey into Hollow Earth or whatever, and they finally get in there, and the first thing that humans do in Hollow Earth is fucking shoot at something. They're like, we're here. Oh shit. Shoot that thing.
What did they
Good
shoot
job.
at?
In their
humanity.
defense, they needed to.
I know, but still, it was just like, hey, we're here. No, fucking shoot that weird
I do like
stingray thing.
I still feel
but
like
that
the
it
chick
already
from-
started fights with Kong, right? Like I mean, they didn't just like see.
Oh
it and be
yeah,
like,
they were
let's shoot
saving
it.
Kong,
Yes.
but still, it was,
Well, yeah, and it blew up the other ship,
Right.
The third ship that was
yes.
Yeah, I was like, I
with
mean, I thought you were
NPCs.
saying like they land or they got in there and were like, bang bang, fuck you, Middle Earth. it's the actual Middle Earth.
Man, when Kong crushes that one ship,
Yeah, I
when
was
he
about
like
to
looks
say.
at that lady in the eye like, nah, fuck you, crush.
Yeah, I was gonna say they gave the best death to the chick from Baby Driver, just because they're like, all right, Kong's gonna give you an eye, and he's gonna make sure his buddy's not on that ship,
Yeah.
and then he's gonna squish you. Which
That was
I
real
thought
good.
was way better than the CEO guy getting it, but from Mechagodzilla, because he's just kind of like, shit.
yeah, and he just kind of gets unceremoniously wiped out.
He just
Yeah.
gets swiped.
There's no knowing to his death.
Yeah.
Kong is like, oh, dis bitch.
He was hoisted by his own Jaegerds.
God.
That was a stretch.
I added one fucking letter. That's not a stretch.
But I mean,
We're talking about a lot of stupid shit about these movies, and there's a lot of stupid shit in them, but the bottom line is that it's rad. It's a rad fucking movie. Look, the title tells you what it is, and that's what it is. We could talk about all the other stuff because it's hard to talk about. And then he punched the lizard, and then the lizard punched the monkey. And, that's not worth talking about because that's just visually awesome. But yeah, there's a lot of really dumb shit in it, but
yeah.
who cares?
And it's weird that it feels scaled back from King of the Monsters,
Yes.
and yet the action and the other stuff feels way bigger and more satisfying. It's
yeah,
just this
I think King of the
paradox
Monsters'
that it
problem
has.
is it's like more globe-trotting. Like they felt like they had to
Yeah, they
spread
went
their
all over
damage
the
around or
place.
something. Like, oh, we can't do
Yeah.
too much here. We gotta go fight this other monster over here. Yeah, I don't know. This was just like, let's fucking wreck Hong Kong. I did like that they showed the other cities as not like, well, San Francisco was all right after that other one. It's like, no, San Francisco went fucking Tokyo jungle on this. Like, I mean, it has gone back to nature. Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe that's King of the Monsters. I watched too many of these right in a row, but I mean, it's like they literally showed that like after the devastation, it is fucking done for that city. So,
Yeah, it gives you what's advertised.
Yeah, for sure.
It does.
Yeah, I look forward to watching it again. I look forward to having a 4K disc of it.
Absolutely. I look forward to having a 4K TV to watch it on one day.
And if you're coming to this with any other expectation, what is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah,
there's this constant push for, wow, the human characters are bad. It's like, no fucking shit, man. There have been 47 of these, and only in one, arguably, could you say that the humans were important. So,
would that be the one where
The
the kid
first one?
imagines the entire movie in his head?
no, that movie's fucking garbage. I'm talking about Shin Godzilla, which is more about the bureaucracy of Japan being unable to do a fucking thing about this that's happening to them, and that movie's heartbreaking from a human element. That's the most remarkable thing about that. But the other 46 Godzilla and Godzilla adjacent movies aren't about the people. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people.
So, Chuck, you being the resident kaiju expert among us, like probably the old. I think I'll speak for Harlow here, but you're the only one who's seen all of them, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And you preferred King of the Monsters to this one, though.
Yes, but only because that had more of a nostalgia thing for me, because it was
more of the
it was doing
Toho
more
stuff
of the
you
tributes
wanted.
to the classic monster stuff. Whereas Kong, like, even though like we watched one of the Japanese ones that Kong was in, and there's King Kong versus Godzilla, no one really thinks about those. No one's like, hey man, those were great, because they weren't. you want your Mecha Godzilla, you want your Mothra.
Yeah, and this one, it's more very clearly that Kong is the hero. I think I said when I went on Discord or whatever right after watching it, I'm like, if you're not a Kong fan by the end of this, like, what the fuck are you doing? Because
Kong is the hero because of the way they are setting up the story.
Yeah, and they basically treat him like the face wrestler,
Sure,
getting just his ass kicked by the heel constantly.
But also, when it comes down to the fight, the right one wins. So,
yeah,
and the end of their initial fight, or that fight in Hong Kong for them, like before Mechagodzilla shows up, man, that is some good like CG monsters getting in each other's faces and just fucking screaming at each other. Like, that is so going to be a meme of just people like, debate me, no, debate me. It's just, raw. Godzilla just like fucking shouted him down, like, no, fucking stay down, you fucking stupid monkey. And Kong eventually was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. My heart. My basketball-sized heart.
I think it's probably slightly larger than that.
Basketball court-sized heart, maybe?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I do like that he had grown like 5 sizes since Skull Island. I mean, granted, it had been 50 years, but still.
Yeah, he's keep growing.
Yeah.
Godzilla, apparently, between this one and the last one, had also gotten a lot larger, so whatever.
Maybe Hong Kong's just smaller than we think it is.
Yeah, just that little bit.
Yeah.
Could be that too. So
Hong Kong is 1/7 smaller than expected.
It's a good movie. It's a big, dumb, fun movie. It's exactly what you think it is. Don't look for more out of it.
Yeah. Like
What's
I said,
wrong
I'm
with you?
just upset because what I'm talking about wouldn't have cost them anything extra. And to me, like, financial disaster on a movie, if you're going to proceed, is no reason to be like, well, clearly that's why it didn't work. It's like, no, like, I don't know.
I honestly, I don't understand why the last one didn't do well. I really don't.
I don't either.
Because it was weird, because this one had so much hype going into it, and I was like, where were all you people for the last one? Because you didn't give a shit about that one. So
yeah, I totally forgot that they like even went down to like that. There's the reference to the Mothra twins and stuff. It's just like I forgot that like all this shit is actually there. Like, this really is a weird love letter to all things Godzilla.
yes,
Yeah.
and for some reason people didn't want that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is wrong with all of you?
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, this very well could be the last one of these we get.
I think
Well, I mean, China's saving it again by, giving it $200 million worth of box office because they can apparently go to the theater and stuff. And that's how that works. But
yeah, and also probably why they set that final fight in Hong Kong instead of Tokyo or.
I was thinking that the whole time
would be more logical.
Yeah.
Well, you would
They
think they
also-
would actually want to watch somebody else's city get wrecked. Like,
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was watching, thinking, and like, did they do this for China? Because it's their own city getting wrecked, right? I mean,
Yeah, well, they did that in one of the Transformers
Yeah, I
movies
know,
too.
yeah.
They're like, all of a sudden
Oh.
they're in Shanghai for no reason.
I guess.
oh god,
Yeah.
yeah, they do that in
People-
Pacific Rim 2 also.
people like to see the hometown.
Yeah.
They marketed the shit out of this movie. Like, we got
They sure did.
85 trailers and 300 posters, and so I think I don't remember when King of the Monsters came out, but you know,
2019.
yeah. So we've been thinking about this all quarantine, waiting
Well-
for some Godzillas.
Yeah, wasn't this supposed to come out last year?
Oh yeah, this was really supposed to come out like 6 to 9 months after the last one. Like it had already
really?
pretty much been in development at that point anyway. They were just going for it. They're like, we're going to release one of these every 9 months. It's going to be great. But yeah, this should have been out 18 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, hate to say it, but yeah, you can smell the reshoots and stuff or whatever they did. I mean, it just from the human element is weird. Like I said, just because it's so, I don't know, just like they were like, we must go down a different path. That's the only way. Make everyone different than how they were before.
Yeah,
That's clearly what was wrong with it. Even though there's really nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I would have liked some greater motivation from the bad guys other than just, hey, let's drive Godzilla crazy, and then Godzilla's bad now. So hey, we made a thing.
Why don't you think they were trying to make him crazy? I think they were just like, we're going to make a Mecha Godzilla so that we don't need fucking real Godzilla. And then they're like, oh, it's actually attracting him. And
Well, no, the whole thing about Pensacola was that they put that thing there to attract him. That the thing
Did
that
they? Okay.
dude conspiracy podcast guy saw
yeah,
was to get Godzilla there to wreck their shit, so
Okay.
that they could go to the public and say, we got to take care of this.
gotcha.
Yeah,
He was
only thing is,
framed.
like, you probably should have made sure it worked first.
Hubris.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't even have the
The source of power.
they didn't even download the power from the center of the
Yeah.
Earth yet.
I love that they made a cute robot to go get the power source. It's just, beep, bop, bop, beep. It's just fucking crab monster robot.
To go, hey Redwing, go get the power source.
Yeah.
Oscar Mike 2, Redwing do everything. Which is a many layered joke. I hope someone gets. But yeah, they made the cute robot go drill the power source out and then email the power source back to home base through the center of the fucking Earth.
Just analyzed it and Wi-Fi'd it back to home base.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's the chemical composition.
Yeah, I appreciate that they got a signal down there.
Yeah, I have no idea how.
Yeah, I can't airdrop shit to my Mac at work. And,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, plenty of little quibbles in this movie, but
Sure.
overall, it is some excellent monster ass kicking, and there's not too much that gets in your way. Like once you've accepted that there are giant titans that want to beat each other up for one reason or another.
That also came from a Hollow Earth. Because it's important,
Yeah.
I feel like, for your
Yes,
acceptance
yes.
level. Yes.
Well, I mean, okay, so
Well,
once-
because at one point Godzilla literally like bores into the ground just so you can be like, hey, fuck you down here. I mean, it's like,
yeah,
I mean, that's like some God of War level, like, who the fuck thought of this? Like who was sitting around and just like, I don't know. What even makes a
love
Hollow
God-
Earth
well,
phone
because
call?
Godzilla was like, "Oh, you're down there."
Yeah. Well, I need some way to talk shit.
Yeah. I think
Love
he was gonna fight him or something. I don't know.
I love that dude has this theory where he's like, I have this theory about the Titans, right? They probably do this thing where they like home in on where they came from. It's really outlandish. It's a crazy theory. And they're like, you mean like salmon? He's like, yeah. It's like, you mean like actual things on this planet that do this exact same thing? You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yes, like salmon.
If you can identify David Attenborough's voice, you know this.
But yeah, like once you, it's a small hurdle to get over. Two giant monsters that want to fight each other. Once you've gotten there, I think you can get to the rest of the stuff, like the Hollow Earth. And if there's a Hollow Earth, then of course they can fly there, and they're extremely convenient, very expensive space machines or whatever. And then they've got a Wi-Fi signal back home. Sure, why not? Once you're along for all those rides, King Kong has a giant axe with a Godzilla scale in it that glows for some reason.
Yeah, and he had a throne
Sure.
waiting for him.
Throne
Yes.
waiting for him, yeah, because he's
Also,
the
they
king.
built statues at some point in Hollow Earth? Like there were monkey statues?
Well,
There was a very primitive monkey statue. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's the ancient
It's an
civilization,
ancient civilization.
in King of the Monsters too, because that's where,
true, right,
where
yeah.
what's his face goes.
Yes.
But it's like sort of kind of implied maybe it's Atlantis, but because like someone's just like, is this Egyptian or something? He's like, no, it is much older.
That's right. I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, so yeah, they established these like ancient civilizations worshiping them at some point.
Okay,
Whatever.
you're right.
I assume that like there was just this smaller Earth, and then like some layer of man made so much garbage like we're doing now that it just made a big ring around it, and then they just started another Earth on top of it.
They're like, we can't clean this up. Just
Yeah.
build a house
Just-
on top of this
just
garbage.
Start living.
Well,
on
no,
top
it
of
had to be an inverse Hollow Earth already, and then somebody went outside and was like, "Oh, that's a good place to throw the trash," and then, yeah,
Yes.
somebody
just
drilled a
loved it.
hole like with one of those old timey, timey drills, and it's like, "Oh, that's where I can put my McDonald's wrappers."
I just love that I started this whole section by being like, listen, if you're going to nitpick this movie, you're an asshole. And now we've just spent like the past hour nitpicking the shit out of it.
Yeah, but they're all
When it's
fun nitpicks.
Right.
We're not like saying this movie sucks because everything's stupid in it. We're saying it's a stupid movie. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we are
all I was saying is like from a writing standpoint, if you're going to make us suffer from humans that are bad, just write them better. Like it doesn't hurt anything. Like it's not hard. Like you already have good. I mean, you can't blame it on like we don't have a budget, so we had to hire shit actors. Like you have quality people all around you. Make them say better things. Doesn't cost you anything extra.
Is there anything that I would watch that Rebecca Hall has been in?
Iron Man 3 is the only thing.
Is
I
she in
think you
Iron Man
would've-
3?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wasn't
well,
she
I've
in the
already seen
town?
that.
Isn't she in the town? The Ben Affleck movie. That's a good movie. By the way,
Okay.
I think that was her.
I think you're right. And then she's been in some Woody Allen movies. Nope.
Eh.
I don't
Buzz.
remember her in The Prestige, but apparently she was in that as well.
Okay.
Been a long time since I watched that one.
Was she David Bowie?
That's right, he's in it. That guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this up, shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm Harlow.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, contact information. That's what we usually do right here.
Oh, sorry. BMFcast.com. That's the website. Also, you can. Fuck, I forgot how to do this. BMFcast.com is the website. You can call us on the Garfield phone at 910-5-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. Go to patreon.com/BMFcast and give us money so that we can continue to pay for HBO Max to watch giant monsters punch each other.
Really, the only reason.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. I'm Harlow.
Alrighty.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And this is BMFcast Variety Hour. Away.
Yeah, you got really crusty there for a minute. Oh, here's one. She was in Frost Nixon.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a real.
that's a movie.
That's a real pulse pounder.
It's a great
Frost
fucking
Nixon.
movie, actually.
I know, but it's like My Dinner with Andre, except they don't like each other. Frost Nixon.
Still a good movie.
Sure.
Dude's just sitting at a table talking.
That's still the weirdest fucking thing. Like, why the hell did Nixon ask for David Frost? Like, that makes no sense.
Because he was a lightweight goofball
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
who wasn't going to ask him the
I
hard
know,
questions.
I
and
know.
then-
But, I mean, like a foreign lightweight goofball, too. That's what's even stranger. It's just like, I'll tell a story, but only this guy is famous over here. Or
They
had
had
he made it famous in America then? I don't know.
No, they had met at something, and
So fucking
you
weird.
should watch the movie. It explains it all.
I know, I did watch it. It's just been a
Nah.
while.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I
one of those
remember
Ron
that was the
Howard
big
movies
thing.
where you're like, anyone could have directed this.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
I guess that's.
Yeah, that'll work.
I'm Harlow.
Yeah. I'm going to export this file.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's a
should,
good
we
idea.
should
I
send
should-
files to the guy who edits the files.
That would
Is
be
that
you.
Chuck?
Yeah.
That's Chuck.
I'm gonna
Nice.
export as a WAV.
I'm going to save this project as first. Ha.
WAV.
My wife.
BMFQVH037-MAKI.
Tell you, I watched The
Save.
Haunting the other night, starring Owen Wilson, and
Man.
you get upwards of 6 wows.
Well, I would think so. There's some haunting going on.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things to be amazed about.
Yes.
God,
Wow.
I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that since 2000. I think.
You should not.
It's like there's so
Yeah.
many ghosts in the
I
house.
seem to remember it not being good.
It is bad.
Ah.
Is that the one with Liam Neeson?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that Jan de Bont? Who's the director on that one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
It is bad.
Yeah.
Is it Jan and not Jan? Have I been saying it
Whatever.
wrong all these years?
No,
Oh,
it's just short for Janice.
okay.
So,
Yeah, Janice DeBont.
Jan de Bont.
Janice DeBonis.
Janice DeBontis. It's Janice
Oh,
of the
yeah.
There's
Bontises.
a Janice de Bontis among us. All right.
Ugh.
Shut some shit down here.
Fuck yeah.
Man, I keep forgetting it's Thursday.
Yes.
It is.
That means tomorrow's Friday. Which
It
means
does,
the
by my
weekend is
math.
almost here.
It sure does mean that.
I like
Friday.
Happy
Friday.
weekend, you guys.
Got to get down
You know
on Friday.
that. And you get your shot this weekend, right, BJ?
I get my second, yeah.
Getting us up
Yeah.
to 75%.
Yep. I am looking forward to it. I took Monday off so that if I am crying and or pooping myself, I will not have to be working while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think either of those are known side effects, but good in case they just happen anyway.
Sometimes they're just the side effect of work.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Crying and pooping. Those two Aerosmith
Stop.
songs we all love.
Crying.
But yeah, I've heard enough to worry about the next
Yeah,
day.
everyone talks about
So,
that damn second shot.
Yeah. I'm not like I'm not
yeah.
Well,
afraid
Chuck
of
has
it.
every
I'm just-
malady known to man. He's fine.
Yeah.
His basketball heart-sized heart was just fine with it.
Yeah, it
Which
just
one
sucked it right up.
Yeah.
Did you get Pfizer, Chuck?
I did. I got Pfizer.
Did you bow your
Yeah,
heart before you got it? Is that how?
I did,
how-
yeah. I
okay,
bowed
good.
my heart.
Good job.
Oh, that explains it.
They're like, okay, here comes the shot. Now bow your heart. It's like, okay. I still don't know what that means, but I'll do it.
Where they're like, you got Pfizer.
Yeah, they did.
If I was given the shots, I would say that.
Yeah. A guy jumps out of like a cake and he shouts, "You got Pfizer!" Ah! And confetti shoots around and
Oh,
slap a
so it's like a
sticker on
gender
you.
reveal party, but it's which
Yeah.
which vaccine you got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you got Pfizer and now you're on fire.
Yeah, I can't wait till they activate all three segments of the vaccinated populations to fight each other.
And
Yeah.
to be clear, that was a joke about gender reveal parties. Not that I think the vaccine makes you suddenly spontaneously combust. It was more,
I hope
Right.
not.
yeah.
Good.
Well, I was saying more like
You were
know-
thinking more like Pokemon teams.
No, I was just thinking about the dumb people that are like, "Hey, look, we had pyrotechnics to reveal our baby's gender. Who gives a fuck?"
Oh, okay.
And we set ourselves on fire. Or half
There
of
was a new
California.
one. A plane crashed. I think it was in Gulf of Mexico or something. Yeah, there was a gender reveal party that included a low altitude flyby, and the plane crashed.
Now, was it
So-
supposed to be like having a banner or something? How does that work? Or were they going to like
have
drop
no
a baby out
idea.
of the plane and be like, "It's a
Yeah.
boy"?
I
No,
have
the banner
no
just
idea.
said mission accomplished,
Oh.
and then it crashed.
Oh,
Oh, so
that's fitting.
yeah, that's not irony. That's like true perfection, actually.
Man, that's so on the nose.
Yeah, that's like
Directly on the nose. Yeah.
Well,
that is the opposite of irony.
that
Wrinkly.
honestly, that like I swear to God, mission accomplished may be like one of my favorite things of all time. Like genuinely of all time. Just hang a fucking banner.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking idiots.
We did it.
Yeah.
What?
Did you?
Cause
I
another
did.
9/11 in
It's
30
like-
years?
And the thing is, too, is it's like, what could they possibly have accomplished at that point? Like, I can understand if there was like some goalpost you crossed, but there was like literally nothing. They're like, we got here.
Yeah,
mission accomplished.
They got him on the boat safely. That was the
Yeah.
that was the mission.
Yeah. I landed the plane.
No, he didn't. His daddy told him he didn't have to.
Me fly good.
Man, it'll never stop being one of my favorite things
Yeah.
until we get something new and stupid. But we probably won't, because if it would have happened, it would have happened in the past 4 years, and they were all just gross and disgusting and made me angry.
Well,
As opposed to Mission Accomplished, which just made me laugh.
Which was like, look at this idiot.
okay. Well, allow me to submit to for your consideration to the
go.
Midnight Club. Donald John Trump looking directly into the fucking eclipse.
That was good. I enjoyed that. But
That
it was
was pretty
after a year of, man, you were the worst person who has ever been birthed in the world.
I'd say it was a lot more time than that. I
Yeah.
had kind of established that many years before that, like the 80s, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
Still,
if you can
looking
just, like,
back, that was pretty good.
yeah, like Bush was doing a lot of other absolutely horrible dipshit stuff back then as well. But
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, if you can take that out of context, is fucking great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
we
it
could
is
have him
funny
staring up into the mission accomplished banner.
It is funny how both those things kind of sum those dudes up, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So I can't wait to read the YouTube comments about this episode, especially the end.
They'll never make it.
Nah. No one ever listens this long. As soon
All
as we
they'll
start
do is
wrapping
just-
up.
Yeah, they'll just give us a 1-star review on iTunes.
Right.
Yeah.
Be like, social justice.
Sons of Hillary.
How dare you think people should be treated equally? Arr.
That's true.
Let's talk about the
I
movie.
did say that, I think.
What?
I will own that I said people should be treated equally.
Oh,
so it's
boo
your
to
fault.
you.
Yeah, and
God
I
damn
stand
it.
by it, actually, to this day. Yeah.
Man.
It's going to get us in more trouble, man.
Yeah. What people don't understand is when I say that, I mean shitty. All across the board. I just said
I think
equally.
what
I
you
didn't
don't
say at what
understand
level.
Is,
Yeah.
is once you have made a decision on an issue, you are not allowed to change your mind ever. New evidence
True.
should not matter. You should always stick by whatever it is that you've decided, and that's that.
Yes.
All right.
Personal growth is for losers.
For pussies.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway,
Yeah. Fuck 'em.
All right.
I am going to unhook my mic and plug this here USB stick in that contains
Cool.
all my microchip information from my vaccine.
Yes, upload your
Send it
daily
to the mothership.
information.
You should be receiving it now.
I can hear it.
Dumpy Dumper.
Yes.
There it is.
Dumpy Dumber is that was the trigger all those years ago.
Alrighty.
All right. Good night.
I will talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.